Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Heather and this is Create Your Own Cozy. Today I am doing a thrift flip video. I got an email from a local thrift store that said, hey, we miss you. Here's a $10 credit. Come in and check us out. So I kindly obliged, even though I'm kind of trying to stay out of thrift stores. I could not leave that $10 unspent. So I wanted to show you today what I got for $10. The first thing I got was this little magazine rack. It was $4.99. Again, this money would have been left on the table and we can't have that. So I have 3 little girls, and when they turn 7, I redo their bedroom. And my smallest is about to turn 7 in August. So I'm starting to think about what I want to do to her room. So what I'm going to do to this magazine rack is make it for her room to kind of have some books beside her table, and I'm going to paint it white and then put some transfers on it that I'm also going to do to a dresser in a later video. So I'm kind of getting myself ramped up by starting small on this free to me piece. Little technical difficulty here on the audio, so I'm going straight to voiceover. These baskets were 99 cents a piece, and I know I'm going to get some flack for this, but I'm going to mute it down because I have a basket wall going on in my house, and I like the colors on there, but that basket's too orange for me. In addition, I got this, I think it was an old wastebasket, but it is solid wood, and it is a very narrow piece, so I think that's what it was. But I'm going to use it for like a little riser in my IKEA bookshelf. And I have some plans to use some IOD transfers on it, and I think you're going to love the way it turns out. Then I found this cute little mug for 99 cents that I'm going to do something fun with a succulent. And it has a cottagecore vibe that I might be going for my daughter's room. And then these cute little salt and pepper shakers were 99 cents. I had to leave it, and all that was $10 and free. So I'm going to add this to this video too, just because I'm doing similar stuff. This was $4. I am going to paint it and put my Mac on top of it. Right now in my office, or my create room, I have a desk without any storage. So this will allow me to put my computer on top of it and have drawer space while my desk is pretty much a table. So next, this wasn't in the original haul, but I wanted to grab a piece of metal. I just had some people over and wanted to get this ready to put waters and drinks in next time that they are over. So it is not copper, although it's a beautiful color. It's very scratched up on the outside. So I'm just going to do some painting on the side and update this to my taste. And I paid $4 for this piece. So I didn't mean to, but I think this video is unofficially sponsored by the color white. I use this paint for every single project. I intended to spray paint the magazine rack, but it was raining outside, and this was the day I had plans. So first thing I do is I clean every single piece with Crud Cutter. This stuff is great. You wipe it on, wipe it off, no water, and then I just painted. Took way longer than I wanted it to, but I just decided it was going to be a day of paint therapy. And as you can see, all these little spaces and the little nooks and crannies, I made a mess of myself. But at the end of the day, I felt like an artist covered in paint and improving things that I want to improve. And it turned out like I wanted it to. This piece right here was a dark wood, so it got 3 solid coats of white. That is a lot of painting. Next, I work on wet distressing it. I use a baby wipe and get a lot of the areas that I think would naturally wear, and it wasn't wearing as much as I wanted it to. That's what happens when you get 3 coats on. So I went and got some 220 sandpaper and just grabbed the edges. For this project, I used this transfer I got about a month and a half ago at the Pinners Conference. Hocus Pocus decor transfer. And I just basically planned where I wanted to put it on the piece, cut it out, and then use the burnishing tool that came with it. Just imagine, this is my frame of reference, putting like fake tattoos on your kids where you kind of have to rub it so that the whole thing gets on there. That's basically what you're doing. You are just rubbing it on there. If it doesn't come all the way off, just push it back down. It's in the exact right place. You can't even tell whether it came off in holes or in pieces. And then to the edges, I just did the flat surfaces first and then pulled it around the edges. These white gloves came with this piece, and you basically use it to burnish or make sure it's really rubbed into the wood. You could use a clean towel or a paper towel, quite honestly. That was just a little extra. As you can see, when I get to the edge, I do the flat surface and make sure that that is all solid. And then I get to the edge and I just roll it and wrap it and keep doing the same thing. It really is not as hard as you would think it would be. And in the end, I am so happy with how this turned out. Next, I'm gonna work on this metal bin. Basically taking that same white paint and painting all over these raised surfaces with the intent of distressing it back. I am just sorry about the angle here. Thought I had it right. And then I put the piece up so I can see it. But I basically, you can wipe off the edge, as you can see right there, which it's a lot of forgiveness with the metal surface and chalk paint. So I'm putting like 1.5 to 2 coats on, and it took me a couple times to finish to figure out how I wanted the final product to look. So be patient with yourself. Depending on what you're working on, you have to see if wet distressing is the way to go, how many coats of paint you would need, and what you want your final product to look like. So here I am using a wet wipe to very lightly, I tried too heavy before and it was distressing too much, so very lightly just reactivate the paint since it's dried a little bit and take kind of the high points off, leave some of it. I wasn't going for like this perfect look. Next, what I'm going to do is take a dry paper towel, and there was like a haze where the paint had gotten wet again. So I'm just basically rubbing off the haze letting some of the shininess of this copper color come through. And not trying to distress anything, just trying to get the haze off. If you don't like it, paint it again. This is supposed to be fun, and if it doesn't look how you think it was going to, then start over. Like, that's kind of the fun part about doing these yourself. Next, I'm cleaning up the boxes. They were gross. Also, there was a sticker on the top here, and I tried to use some lemon oil to get it off because I heard that was really good for stickers. And quite honestly, it wasn't really making it budge, but when I got the crud cutter back on, that's when it really did the movement. So I'm doing about 2 coats on this. This wood took the paint pretty well. 2 coats of the white, because I'm gonna distress this one back. This piece, my daughter said it kind of turned out boring, but quite honestly, I'm gonna use like a bad word in my house, and that's functional. This piece is super functional, so I don't need it to be like this crazy decorative piece. I just didn't want it to be an eyesore. So I took this outdated thing, painted it, distressed it, and when it's not raining, I'm gonna put a clear spray paint coat on top because my metal computer's gonna be sitting on top of it, and I don't want it to scratch the paint. So as soon as the rain stops, I'm gonna do like a top level of clear coat so that it is protected and it can hide my stuff and not be an eyesore. Mission accomplished here. All right, this one, I think it was an old wastebasket. It was a lot of wasted wood if that's what it was. Otherwise, there is a taper to it. I can't figure out what it would be. I am covering it with 2 coats of paint. I will be distressing the edges. And when I'm all done, I will be putting a layer of just like a cream wax over it. It's not a high use final product, so I don't need like a polyurethane. I just need a wax to keep everything in its place and not get a bunch of finger marks on it for my kids when they touch it with their dirty fingers. Next, I'm going to use the IOD transfer, which I used on my bird decor mold video a few videos ago. But I'm basically doing the same thing that I did with the project prior, and quite honestly, the backing on this was a lot easier to work with. So if you were going to ask me right now, I would pick IOD way over the Hocus Pocus. And what I'm trying here is I'm just taking those wet wipes that I used to distress, and since they have a little bit of paint on them, I am just putting them on this basket to see. I don't want to overdo it, so I'm just kind of seeing, like in the center, do I just want to add a little bit of paint or whatever. So I'm using just whatever paint is left over in these to do a little test project. But as you can see, of course, I want more color gone. So I'm just dry brushing. This is the brush I've been using all day, not putting it back in the paint, just rubbing it on to take the orange out, make it look a little bit older, because it needs to kind of go with the color tone of all the baskets I already have on the wall. I like the shape, I like the rings, and I even like the coloring. I just need to tone it down. I know you guys are so surprised. I promise I'm gonna be doing a color project soon, just not yet. Let me know in the comments below. Are you afraid of color too? Is it just me? I'm not afraid of it. It's not my preference anymore. So I did end up going back over these with a wet wipe to kind of take away some of it, just so I had like this dull muted tone and it didn't remove all the original. And then last up is the Fun Cut Projects. I got these two faux succulents from Michael's. I had a $5 coupon and I did not want it to go to waste. And then this foam is from the Dollar Tree for $1. I had some moss from another project, but the Dollar Tree also has plenty of moss just to kind of cover that up. And this is just a real simple product to add some life and to use some of these old mugs that you can find at the thrift store every single time. That H on the right is something that my sister gave me, but I can't use those kind of mugs in my house or my kids spill my coffee. So I want to see it in my create room, and this is the way that I'll use it. So that's the end of this week's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to give me a like, subscribe, and let me know what your favorite project was. It really helps my channel grow when you interact with me and help share with other people that would like the same kind of content. Thanks guys, and I'll see you next week.